So I got a great question here from one of my Instagram fans. He goes on to say, "Yo, Elliot, my question is, when we were dating, my wife used to respect me. It's one of the many reasons I was attracted to her. But as we got married and recently had a son, this respect has all but disappeared. What causes this, and what can I do to fix this?" So the very first thing I'd like to say to you, buddy, is that this is a typical pattern many men experience. And I probably answered this question a dozen times for the men in my life. I am grateful that I have a wife that has always shown me respect and gratitude as the father, the leader, and the provider and protector of my home. Now, before I continue, this is going to be a longer video. So if you're watching this on Instagram, make sure you watch it on IGTV, because I'm going to drop a lot of gems, a lot of red pills here for you. So the very first thing you got to recognize is that when a woman becomes pregnant, it is normal and natural for her to turn her focus in on herself. So a lot of guys, they struggle because they don't recognize that when a woman is growing a baby on the inside, she still only has a limited amount of attention, limited amount of vitality, vital resources, and so some is going to be allocated away from you. While she's pregnant, you ain't going to get the goodies that you used to get, and that's okay. You're not going to get all the adoration and all the love and all the attention that you used to get, and that's okay. Even after the baby comes, first 3 months, 6 months, a year, hopefully she's breastfeeding your baby. That's going to take even more energy away from her. All normal and natural, and what you ought to know is that she's going to come back. Let her, I had 4 kids, so I understand this. First time, my wife disappeared, and I'm like, what happened? Like, I became nobody. But then she came back. And then, of course, I had a second, a third, and a 4th kid. And I see these patterns. I recognize what's going on. She's going to come back. But if you begin to lose your frame, and this happens very early on when a woman becomes pregnant, a man begins to lose his frame. What I mean by that is you begin to lose your self-esteem, your sense of self, and your position in the relationship, because you should always be the leader. You start to lose your frame, it's going to be harder for you to get that back. And it's one of the things that I didn't do, but many men do. Here's what it looks like. The woman becomes pregnant, right? She's going to turn in on herself, but then everybody around is adoring her. Oh, the baby's coming. Oh, how are you doing? Especially if she's getting grumpy, because she can get grumpy. She's pregnant. Everybody wants to know how she's doing. Even your friends, not that they ever really cared about you, but now they really don't care about you. How's your wife doing with the baby, right? So before they're asking about dumb shit like sports games, but now all of a sudden everybody cares because the woman's pregnant. What that does is 2 things. Number 1, it begins to make her feel like she's the most important thing in the world. The world revolves around me. I'm only focused on me, and everybody else is focused on me, right? Starts to taint her character, destroy her character if you're not careful. Another thing that happens, because now you sort of take a back seat and she needs a little bit more help, and everybody else is seeing that she's the victim. That's another weird thing that happens in our culture. We start to think that a woman who's pregnant is a victim. Oh. So you start subjugating yourself to her, which again is normal, natural. It's okay. You want to help her. She's waddling around. She's got to hold her back. She's got a fucking baby. So you start being a nice guy, right? It seems like the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but it's where you start to lose your frame. She didn't marry a nice guy. Oh, baby, go get me that thing. I can't get up. Oh, baby, go do this for me. Oh, baby, go get that for me. Oh, you didn't get it fast enough this time. Oh, you're going too slow. Let me go get it. Oh! And all of a sudden, you go from just being a nice guy, trying to provide and protect, to a whipping boy. You didn't get it fast enough. You didn't do it right. And when the baby comes, it's even worse, right? You allow this to happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'll talk to you about how you can avoid it in a moment. You didn't heat up the bottle right. You didn't change the baby diaper right. And I see these guys in the supermarket all the time. They look, I've been there. I'm not judging. But there's a picture of me on Instagram where I'm pushing a cart with 4 kids. I look jacked and tan. I look like an alpha male, but you can see these guys with the bent back, pushing the cart, and the woman's walking out in front, and you could tell that he's on the freaking leash. So number one, I'm gonna go deep on the red pills here for you guys. You gotta recognize that there is a natural order in the family. And it's not the order that they have us believing it is in our culture. In our culture right now, everything is backwards. I like to say we live in backwards day. And in backwards day, children rule the family. You see it happening immediately because everybody starts paying attention to the mommy and the baby. And then here's the biggest racket: baby showers. So people are spending all kinds of money and all kind of ridiculous shit because they think the baby needs it, but half the stuff the baby doesn't fucking need. Trust me, I know. I've been through this stuff. But it's just showering upon showering upon showering in adoration for the baby. And it doesn't stop. So whatever the child wants, whatever the child's problem is, whatever's going on with the child becomes priority number one in the family. And you got to understand that is not the natural order. If you put your children as number one in your family, you will suffer because your relationship with your wife is number one. You are number one. Like I said, you got to maintain that frame. I'll talk to you about that in a moment. But you are number one. Your relationship with your woman is number two. The children are number three. Very, very important. They subjugate themselves to you. Now, your wife not going to think that way naturally because it's just, they're women. And the culture, because we live in a feminized culture, is not going to have you think that way naturally. So you got to be red pill. Here's red pill number one. Read the Bible. The Bible is full of all kinds of red pills, and I think it's a part of the reason why the world has turned us against Christ. Let me just drop one on you here, right? In the Bible, I believe it's in Corinthians, St. Paul says that there's a natural order in the family. God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, women over children. In that order. And here's why the Christ part is important. Because men, we don't get our authority on our own ground. If you live in a home where your woman respects Christ, she's going to respect you because she understands that order. And if you are a man that respects authority, because that's what men do. Men work in hierarchies, unless they're passive aggressive, half female men, which that's what we live in. Most men are like women. But if you're a real man, you think in terms of hierarchy. That's why men do well in corporations and in military. Women do well in circles, sewing circles, yakking circles, circles. Men work in hierarchies, but we've been taught to eschew authority. Another reason why we've been turned against our fathers, we've been turned against our God, because they try to get us to believe that authority is a bad thing. But men don't operate well unless we look to authority and recognize our own authority. And a woman will recognize your authority if you live in this order. So I'm not proselytizing, not trying to get converts, but I'm telling you, if you want to have order in your home, you want to have authority in your home, it has to come from somewhere outside of yourself. If you're a man that orders himself rightly towards the Father above, right? You got to have a father to be a pattern. To be a father, you got to have a father. Then the authority trickles down. The woman is going to take advantage of you if you don't have this authority. You don't carry that authority. You don't maintain your frame. And so you find yourself in a situation when you're at right now, right? You've already lost your frame. I'm going to talk to you about how you can keep your frame because I just told you that. You can keep your frame by working in that natural order and having her respect and understand that natural order. That's already lost. So I'll give you a few tips. These are some great tips. Comes from a book called How to Save a Low-Sex Marriage by the Blue Pill Professor. Blue Pill Professor. And started reading the book because I got questions like this from men, friends. Right? Friends. No, truly, really, friends. Because I don't have this problem. Not that I'm better than you guys. It's just it's not what I had to deal with because I maintained that authority from the beginning. Saving a low-sex marriage, and it's just interesting because we're not talking about sex, but it all is about the same thing. It's about losing your frame in the relationship. And once you lost your frame, you know, because either your wife's henpecking you or she's not giving it up. The very first thing you got to do is at least bring it up to her. You got to say, hey, sweetheart, when you talk to me that way, I don't like it. And I would really like if you would speak with me in a more respectful tone. Just be honest about it. You don't have to be angry about it. The worst thing you could do is be angry about it or show her your anger about it. Just say, hey, babe, I don't like the tone that you're using with me right now. Would you mind reframing that? And if she obliges and it goes away and you just bring it up a couple times, you're good. But it doesn't always work that way because now she's probably in a pattern. She's used to dealing with you a certain way. And so she's going to shit test you again. She's going to bring it back. She starts bringing it back and you start mention to her that you don't like it, then you got to start pulling yourself away. And this is what he talks about in this book. First, you start pulling your attention away a little bit, right? And now this is not about punishing her. It's important that you recognize this. You pull your attention away because who wants to give their attention to somebody that disrespects them? It's just normal and natural for a human being who has respect for themselves to turn away from somebody who's disrespecting them. Recognize, hey, look, this is a woman. She's my wife. She's the mother of my child, but she's disrespecting me and I'm not going to put up with it. So I'm going to turn my attention away from her. Turning your attention away from her just means like if she's used to you giving her a kiss when you walk in the door and walk right by her. There's nothing about it. You're just, no, I'm not giving you 100% of my attention right now. Like almost like you forgot, right? If she asks you to do something, go change the baby diaper. You let her know, I'll do it when I'm ready. In fact, one of the greatest tools you can use is to wait to respond. Hey, go change the baby diaper. Wait a few seconds. When I'm ready. My wife knows when she gets that answer from me. And it's usually not because I'm trying to pull my attention away from her. It's because I put myself first. I'm reading something right now. She wants to take out the garbage. You see, I'm doing something right now. So, when I'm ready. It'll get done when I'm ready. You got to let her know that. Now, again, remember, it's not a punishment. It is a means by which you show her your priority. My priority is me right now. So you start pulling your attention away a little bit. Next thing you do, you start pulling your time away a little bit. And that means you got to go to the gym. Don't be hanging around the house so much. Don't just be there for her beck and call. Go do things that you like to go do. Just get out the house. If she's starting up with that shit, just say, hey, babe, I'm going to the gym. Get out. It's the best place to go because it's all about you being the strongest version of you, right? So you go to the gym. And by, and this is very strategic. You got to read the book because I'm just giving you little snapshots here. By and by, you start pulling yourself away little by little. And what happens is in her, she'll start to have a sense of dread. These are all red pill terms. A sense of dread. Whoa, he didn't give me, and it's a small thing. He didn't give me the kiss when he walked in the door. Maybe he's kissing somebody else. Don't go kissing anybody else. Just because she's treating you this way don't mean you go fuck other women. Maybe he's thinking about something else. Maybe he's thinking about somebody else. She starts to have this sense of dread. Women, they fear because biologically they recognize that they need a man. If he defiles my bed, if he's going out, I might lose him. And then I lose my funding, I lose my protecting, I lose all kinds of shit. But it's primordial. It's primal. She's not thinking this shit. She's gonna feel it. You go into the gym. Why are you going to the gym all the time? Not only is it gonna create dread that you go into the gym all the time because you're giving your energy somewhere else, but you're gonna start looking mighty fine, bro. Right? Just imagine. He's not around so much, and he's starting to look better. Again, it's a subtle thing. You don't want to force it or pour it on. You don't want to do it from an angry place, but it's just a slight diversion of all of your life force from her and her nasty ways, right? To building yourself back up and maintaining your frame, building back up your frame. Building back up your frame is a tough thing. Maintaining your frame is the easier thing to do. So there is hope for you, brother. There absolutely 100% is hope for you. I would encourage you to recognize the two resources, or to go check out the resources I was talking about. Read, I think it's I don't know, just look up Corinthians marriage. And St. Paul talks about, the right way for husband and wife to be. It's amazing. Look it up in the Bible. You can probably Google it. And then check out the book. I think it's called Saving a Low-Sex Marriage by Blue Pill Professor. These are going to save it for you, brother. I really think things are going to work out for you. If she was a good woman to begin with, this is just a little bump in the road. I think you're going to be all right. Done.